Deepavali, a festival of prosperity, love, and success. Because Deepavali is the day when Lord Ram returned to Ayodhya after killing demon king Ravana. We all know the story of Ramayana. And many times we mistake. We think that Ramayana is a religious story. It was written to please followers of Hinduism. But actually, what I have understood after my research on Vedas and the Vedic scriptures, that Ramayana has nothing to do with Hinduism. Lord Ram was not a follower of Hinduism at all. People they called Hindustan a Hindustan, they gave us this name after the time of Lord Ram. So in that era, there was nothing called Hindu. There was only this Vedic Sanatan Dharma, the Vedic culture or the ancient culture or ancient tradition. So his life journey, his that life path, that is inspirational for every human. If you are a human and you are alive, Ramayana is for you. But in which form? How we should read it? That is again a question. Ramayana or Deepavali, actually this alone, it has no meaning. If I just talk about Ramayana, that will be meaningless. If I talk about Deepavali, that will be meaningless. Alone, it has no meaning. Because on Deepavali, Lord Ram, he returned to Ayodhya. But again the question comes, from where and why? The answers are, he came back from Vijayadashami and to establish Karwa Chauth or Kalash Chaturthi. The correct word is Kalash or Ganesh Chaturthi. Ganesh Chaturthi is the correct word. And in Vedic tradition, we also believe that a Ghrata Patra, a kalash or a pot which is filled with water or ghee, that represents Lord Ganesha. So he came from Vijayadashami, means it is a complete cycle. You know what happens or what happened in that era? Ravana was a great scholar. He was a scholar of Vedas and he was a knowledgeable person. But then he got this ego and he started believing that he is a great scholar. If you are a great scholar, that is a good thing. But you should not have ego of that. Now Ravana thought that what if someone else also achieves this level of being a Mahapandit as I have done, then there will be no value of my work. There will be competition for me. So he started killing all Brahmanas, all the researchers, all the people from Gurukula. Now, in this process, he became cruel because you kill one person, you get this pain, right? You have some guilt. You kill another one, you kill another one, then you become neutral. Then you don't feel any pain or anything. There is no guilt. Now, in that process, he became cruel and he started killing innocent people. And obviously those scholars, they were also innocent. They were just doing their research work. They were studying Vedas. There was nothing wrong they were doing. So in that era, in that time, Lord Ram made this stand and he killed Ravana. Now what he actually did, as they say, Lord Ram was a great worshipper of goddess Durga. And the statement, as Rishi Valmiki says, that Lord Ram got these blessings from Durga. And with the help of Durga, he was able to kill Ravana and his ahamkara, ego. Now in Vedic text, if you search for Durga, you won't find anything. There was no goddess. There was no, like these people, they create this statue and they believe there is this in one hand, there is that in another hand. Actually, there is no record in the Vedic text. But yes, in the Sukta, when Parmeshwara is talking about Agni, the name Durga is mentioned. And it is to praise Agni. So Parmeshwara is telling us that another name of Agni is Durga. Now Agni can be in many forms. So Lord Ram took help or took the blessing of Durga. Now in what form? In the form of knowledge. In the form of knowledge, because he was a great scholar. And because of his wisdom, his knowledge, his intellect and his courage, that Agni of courage, he was able to destroy Ravana's army. So Durga, if you take the help of Durga, you can kill your ego. That's what Lord Ram did. Now in this ego, if we talk about 21st century, what is the solution to destroy all the forms of demons? That is one simple form, by knowledge. If you can learn the Vedic scriptures, the Vedic text, if you can achieve or earn that Vedic knowledge, and if you start spreading it, then you can kill all the forms of these demons. Then after Vijayadashmi, when you destroy all the demons, comes the festival Ganesh Chaturthi or Karwa Chauth. Now, I see females, they will have this fast. They won't drink anything, they won't eat anything, and they will look at moon, and then they will look at their husband, then they will click selfies, and then finally they will say that now, because of my sacrifice, whatever I have done, my husband will get long life. Actually, the concept sounds a little suspicious, right? How? If one person is having fast, killing herself, how the other person can get life? Actually, it is contradicting to the concept of karma and kala from the Vedic text. The actual concept is, if you study the text of Jyotisha written by Maharshi Parashara or Garga or Gemini, you will find that they say Ganesha Chaturthi. Why the name is given? There are tithis, okay? From 1 to 14th, there are tithis. Total of 15 tithi. 1st to 14th are the names are given, and the 15th one is common. It is Amavasya, new moon, or full moon, Purnima. So the 4th tithi, like there is sun, then there is moon. Now moon and sun, they comes together at new moon. Then moon start walking away from sun, and every 12 degree is counted as one tithi. Now the fourth cycle, the fourth tithi is called Ganesha Chaturthi. Chaturthi means the fourth one, and the name Ganesh has given to teach us the significance of that tithi. So it is simply telling us that when you destroy your ego, when you start believing that we all are equal, we all are children of that Supreme Being, that God, and we all are here to help each other, not to destroy each other. When you start believing that, then you start communicating. Communication, Lord Ganesha, Ganesha is Brahmanaspati, means the Lord of sound, the Lord of words. And what is that in your body? Ganesha is not in some temple in the form of a statue. Ganesha is here, your vocal cords. It is what produces sound. And you can chalk it. Now you can see, I have a different voice. Now I have a different, now a different. What is happening? It is sensitive, and because of my vocal cords, because of my throat, I am able to produce sound. So it is the Lord of mantra or sound, Ganesha. So they say that Ganesh Chaturthi represents this concept that on Vijayadashami you were able to destroy your ego. Now you believe that even your child, your grandchildren, even they can teach you some things. We all are equal, and we are teaching as well as learning in this life. And when we believe in that concept, then Ganesh Chaturthi or Karwa Chauth is telling us to sit together. All family members, they should sit together and they should talk, share their ideas, their views on life, on relations. And that way, you are able to create that harmony in your home, in your family. And also you learn from each other. Because if you approach a guru and if you say, oh, hello master, I know more than you do. Okay, I am more knowledgeable than you, but still I want to learn from you. Will you be able to learn? Never. For that, you have to believe that the guru is more knowledgeable than you, and he or she has something to teach you. Only then you will be able to learn from that person. So Ganesh Chaturthi is all about communication, and why we have so many issues in our life. It is all because of communication. So if we can heal that aspect of our life. So Ganesh Chaturthi or Karwa Chauth, the tradition is to have a mauna, vrata. Okay, it is to have fast. But which one? To be in the silence. That be in silence, process. Why you have problems with your husband? Why you have problems with your boss? Why you have problems with your children? Are they wrong? And was the fault from one side only? Or you also made some mistake? When you realize that, then you start changing. Your complete thought process changes. And then Deepavali comes, when there is prosperity. That's what Lord Ram did. First he killed Ravana, then he made this good relation with Vibhishan, Sugriv and everyone. He came to Ayodhya. He established a way, a path to communicate. That communication channel was established between the king and the people in the kingdom. And then Deepavali, the prosperity came. So this Deepavali, don't exchange gifts. because there is this tradition that okay, you are my relative, I will give you a box of chocolate worth 500, you will give me worth 600. There is this tradition, I will also add taxes, this much I spend on my flight or on the Ola cab or diesel or petrol, so you have to add them and then return me back. It is a corrupt system. Deepavali is not about exchanging gifts. Deepavali is not about showing off or creating pollution, sound or air pollution, or to drink and play cards. Deepavali is about sharing and establishing those Vedic teachings, that path to success, not just for us, but for everybody. Now, many people also do one thing, that they go to some NGO, some Anath Ashram, orphanage, and they will donate some things to those kids or those people there. Actually, I believe this is like we are giving some beggar to them. Is that a right approach? Instead of that, if we can just teach those kids, if we can help those people to be self-dependent, if we can do something to educate them so they can lead their life with respect and proud, won't that be good? Maybe that is the only way to create that golden era in this Kali Yuga. Happy Diwali to all of you. Have fun and spread love and wisdom.